Chapter 9. Detlaff seated Regis at the table. He looked around the room and went to the basement hatch. It was reckless, he said. I know. Just don't say you need time. You know what needs to be done. I know. The fire in the hearth had died, and darkness engulfed the interior of the abandoned hut. Neris sat down at the table and sipped the mandrake tincture. Regis was massaging his temple, sore from the fall. You said you wanted our help. Yes. So I have a condition. End the secrets. It's time for the truth. Provided in its entirety and as succinctly as possible, please. The truth is boring, Regis, she sighed. Somewhere near Dillingen there is a chest containing the spoils of war. Arnold, that's the sergeant's name, hid it there to keep it safe until the end of the war. Unfortunately, at the end of the campaign, he was wounded in battle. We took him from the field hospital so he would not die there cold and miserable. And so he could give you the location. Neris was silent, and Regis spread his hands. Forgive me, but I am not convinced. You know what awaits him if we don't follow them. Erskine and Ossian, you've met them. You have seen who they are. And who you are. I'm only interested in gold. I don't want him dead. How noble. Nobility I leave to you, Regis. No, don't protest. I've seen you take care of Arnold day after day. You helped me too, though you didn't have to. Do you want the truth? Here it is. You already know that without our help, he will die. You will come with me because your conscience compels you. Detlaff raised the trapdoor in the floorboards. She's right, Regis, he said. Let's get it over with. It was damp in the cellar and dark as still. Regis ran the charcoal across the floor and closed the symbol. Inside the circle he placed the clay bowl they had taken from the hut at Fen Khan. Why did you save him, Detlaff? Who? The Temerian soldier back at the inn. You could have left him. I could, but saving his life, it seemed like something you'd do. Aw. The circle glowed. Ancient magic set the air in motion. Detlaff stood over the bowl and with a swift movement he cut his wrist. Blood flowed. It's always been easy for me, he said. I've been around for a long time. I have a firm opinion about human and their parodies of civilization. They spread through this world like a plague. They arranged it so poorly that it could not possibly work. You thought so until now. I still think so. And yet something has changed. Detlaff winced, wiggled his numb fingers. You see something more in them, he said. You're still trying to help them. It's naive, intriguing. Detlaff closed the wound and left the circle. Regis took his place. He grasped the bowl in both hands, whispered an incantation and drank. Fresh blood spilled inside him, spurring tremors of euphoria. Vampire senses, previously muted, exploded forth. He heard every murmur. A whirlwind throwing snow around the hills, the burble of the Yaruga's cloudy waters, a horse's neigh and hoofbeats on a faraway track. The stallion grunted. Sorensen slapped him with the reins. He wanted to make sure he had got far enough away from the hut. Dawn was breaking when he reached the clearing at Turalo Heights. Pines cast long shadows on the rocks, and he sat on the trunk of a fallen tree and wrapped his cloak around him. Sabrina! Do you have any idea what time it is? Do you think sorceresses don't sleep? I found the vampires. A sigh. Contract fulfilled? Not yet, but I heard their conversation. I know who they're following. Sorensen, sweetheart, if I need a tracker, I'd hire one. I believe you are a witcher. A witcher, not an idiot. The grey one, Regis. I assume killing him would be an act of mercy, but he is not going to his grave. At the Yaruga, he hypnotized a band of soldiers. Do you want to bargain again? I want help. A soft laugh. You're lucky I'm prepared. It flashed, then a portal opened nearby. Power poured forth from the swirling chaos and formed the shape of a weapon. The contour became clearer and clearer. Then finally it filled with heat and solidified. An ornate dagger fell into the snow. Sorensen picked it up and ran his fingers along the runes. What do I do with it? Sharpen stakes? It's enchanted. It activates on contact with vampire flesh. It didn't manage to reproduce the spell completely. When I imbued into the dagger should be enough. Are you sure it'll work? No. Vilgeforce, the creator of the spell, was devilishly clever. Recreating the formula was an expensive challenge. The blade infusion process alone took a week. Use it wisely as it lasts a single use. I remind you that there are two of them. Yes, but you, my dear. Sorensen sighed. He hopped off the trunk and slid the dagger into his belt. But I am a witcher. And you will come up with something. She paused. Correct. Sorensen mounted his horse. He looked at the sled tracks that ran across the clearing to the west. Do I have another option?